Tyler Russell on 93.7 KCLB.
Former Palm Springs resident, now host of The Voice on NBC, Carson Daly, man. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. I know you felt bad because you thought you called in late. I thought maybe you were just watching yourself on TV.
Oh, God, no. No, I'm not that, I'm not that vain.
Yeah. Do you watch yourself when you come on TV?
No, nothing. I mean, literally nothing. No, and my girlfriend's really into the show, and she'll give our son a bath even in the morning when I'm on the radio and say, like, oh, we're listening, we heard you interview. And I was like, I don't want to hear about it. Just anything, no, don't even mention it.
That's funny because you differ from another, I won't mention, media star who probably watches and listens to almost everything that he does.
Oh, who, Seacrest?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, absolutely. No, there's flat screens everywhere in his world, I'm sure.
I do want to thank your mom for helping us set this up, who's a big local celebrity around here, Patty Daly Caruso. Yeah. Do you talk to her a lot between all your jobs?
I talk to, she's on a boat right now in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Like we're texting right now. It's crazy. I love her. She drives me crazy sometimes, but like we'll go to the market in Palm Springs and people are like, oh, like your mother said this about you and you were. I was like, oh man, she talks a lot, but like it's I love her to death. It's the best.
Do you miss it out here ever?
I absolutely do. You know, when I was there, I was young. I mean, I was like 18 or 19. Right. I was kind of eager to figure. I wanted to play pro golf, so it was a little bit different. But I've always loved it. You know, we've gone out there for forever since my dad, since I was like 12 or 13. It was a little boring, but now to go back, I love it. You know, my sister just bought a place out there at Ironwood, and like. We go back all the time and love it.
So do people still see you out here on weekends and say, hey, man, it's cool that you're back visiting home?
Oh, yeah. A lot of places are gone.
What were some of your favorite places that you hung out when you were a kid in college over here?
Well, I went to B.B. O'Brien's, which is a great sports bar, which I live there, and it's not around on Painter's Path. They're the Scottish Kilt, you know that place?
There's the Tilted Kilt.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Is that okay?
That used to be something else, and then B.B. O'Brien's was across the street from that on the mountainside. A bunch of random little spots like that.
The Tilted Kilt, you may be sad to know, got busted for their waitresses doubling as hookers and now is no longer open.
I mean, that just pains me that I've moved out of that town. That's happening.
Well, hey, listen, The Voice airing Tuesday nights on NBC. This thing came out of nowhere and it is doing awesome. Congrats on the success.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been amazing. I'm not a big fan of these types of shows. I never really watched them. I always felt like when I worked at MTV, I was really in the music business. And when Idol started, I kind of felt like everybody on TV in music was kind of like taking a shortcut, like cutting in line. When I was explaining it before it ever first aired, people were like, wait, what? It was really kind of confusing.
Yeah.
And they got so hooked on these big red chairs that turned around, and people really just kind of likened that to being a gimmick. And I kind of did, too, when I first saw the tape. This was a format that had worked well in Holland. Mark Burnett was going to produce it, and I knew it was going to look good, and I just felt like it was credible. And so that was one thing that was important to me.
Did you know the judges before you got hooked up with the show, or did the producers pick who, or did you have some involvement with that?
No, we first started with it, and they were like, I was like, well, what are we talking about here? Like, what's the scope of the show? Like, I don't like to see, like Simon or these people on American Idol who, I don't know have had like an incredible career in music. Like, if somebody's going to make a comment about somebody on stage, it should be somebody who has been on stage themselves.
Yeah.
So with The Voice, we were, we started going down that path, and it was like, well, who has a great voice? There's Adam from Maroon 5, I've known for a while. He made his TV debut on my late night show. And Blake Shelton, I didn't really know from the country world, but he's turned out to be one of the funnier people on the show.
He really is hilarious.
Oh, dude, if you read his tweets, I mean, you should follow him. Like, the first tweet I ever read from Blake Shelton, he was just like, sitting in the back of my pickup truck, drunk on whiskey. ... I mean, he really has a great sense of humor.
Do you like these types of music that you always worked with? Are you a fan of the pop genre, or are you more like on our rock side of things?
I love rock. I mean, people who know anything about my career, like, I mean, I have more of a career in rock radio. I worked at, I was a music director and alternative rock, and worked at K-Rock in Los Angeles, which is a heritage rock station. It seems to be a little bit more my bread and butter, but the truth is, when you're, either you, Tyler, or me, or any of us that have made a career in music, I just wanted to be around it. So I'm not too proud to beg. I mean, I really do genuinely love just music in general. I do love urban music. I grew up being kind of a white kid, loving NWA and Dr. Dre, and I love reggae. I love house music. So, I mean, I genuinely just, I'm passionate about music.
You've always been a really passionate, ambitious person. I think that's what got you out of the Valley and into such, big stardom. What's your advice for people slaving away in the Valley today?
I went to college in the desert. I worked at a gas station. I lived with 3 Canadians and paid $250 rent right there just south of 111 by COD. I mean, I know what it's like to live there and work in the service community. I know what it's like to aspire for quote-unquote greatness. But, you really have to evaluate what's important to you. For me, it's always been about my family. To earn your money, to put in a hard day's work, and to take that money and to put it back into your family and to reap the rewards of that really is the most important thing.
All right, man. Well, hey, congrats on The Voice. I really appreciate you taking some time. You've got 1,000 jobs, and I know it's awesome of you just to take a few minutes. I really do
listen, anytime you need anything, please let me know.
Like to tweet? Like to be tweeted at? Follow Tyler on twitter.com/Tyler_Russell. 93.7 KCLB rocks.